Hey girl, hey, welcome to Tia's Table. Let's talk about everything from the latest fitness and wellness trends, recipes that are actually worth cooking, and the craziness that's happening on our side of the internet. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. So excited to be talking to you, even though I am a little sleepy. I'm not gonna lie. I started getting drowsy about an hour ago. But I'm fighting it because I'm like, I want to make sure I call them before I go to bed tonight, because one of my goals is to do these Monday, Thursday recordings. I feel like it's really good for me. We can go right into the update. Oh, wait, before we go into my update, I did want to talk about what's not on my table, but that I miss eating so very much, because I didn't realize how much I really loved beans and peas until I couldn't eat them anymore. And since it is fall and the fall weather has finally made its way to the Atlanta metro area, these are some of the things that I would be making if I could eat beans right now. White chicken chili. Y'all already know I love white chicken chili. I make my own salsa. I top the bowls of chili with the homemade salsa and a little bit of sour cream, and it's always just so good. I like to really eat mine with tortilla chips, and I scoop that up instead of using a spoon, and it is always just the most delectable fall dinner that you can imagine, and it's good for you. I love my black beans and my taco salads. Now, I have had tacos. I have had burrito bowls. Like, I've been having all of the things just without my black beans, and I miss them. I get really good refried black beans, and I would use them as like a smear, as like a dollop in my taco salad situation, and sometimes I would just make them and eat them as dip, because I would make a quick little, you know how people make like the 7-layer dip when they go to parties or whatever. I would make a version of that just like as a snack sometimes, and all it is black beans. You have your salsa, you have some avocado. If you have avocado, you can do fresh avocado, or if you have guacamole, girl, and it's not extra at your house, so you can put guacamole on there, some sour cream and some cheese, and you have a cute little layered dip for one, and it's so good. Refried black beans to me are like the elite refried bean. I also really love just regular chili this time of year, and I have a recipe called Sure Thing Chili. It came out in the newsletter like many months ago. If you were signed up to receive my newsletter, then you got it. Maybe I'll post it over on the Instagram page and people can like screenshot it. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can do that at Tia's Table Podcast. That recipe is really good. And then you know what else I really love? Black-eyed peas. And I don't know if that's the South in me or what, but I love black-eyed peas. I like black-eyed peas with a roast. I like black-eyed peas with fried chicken. I like black-eyed peas with just about anything, with some rice, with some ham hocks. Like, they're just so good, especially when they're cooked right. Now, no one wants a mushy black-eyed pea. We don't want an overcooked smashed black-eyed pea. We want those black-eyed peas to be done, but to still be whole, so that, you know, they have somewhat of a proper pea bite to them. I miss my black-eyed peas. Red beans and rice. Red beans and rice. Red beans and rice. I love this time of year because I get red beans. I pick through them. I get the little deformed ones out. I make sure there are no rocks in that bag. I soak those beans overnight so that the next day when I cook them in the crock pot, it's not going to take them forever to cook. I love andouille sausage. I love bell pepper and onion and garlic. I love anything that's got that Creole seasoning in it. Red beans and rice are so good. And I have a recipe for red beans and rice. That is perfect. It comes out perfect every time. Now, it does come out a little spicy. So maybe it's not like my kids' most favorite thing in the whole world to eat, but I literally don't even care. Sometimes I truly am like, F those kids. This is what I want to eat. And I make it. And again, I put it over rice. And it is just so good to my little fall loving soul. And lastly, this really might just be something that only a Southern girl would appreciate. So you can judge, but you're missing out. My dad makes pinto beans, right? With ham in them. He uses like the ham bone from an actual ham. So like, for example, when you have your ham for like Thanksgiving or Christmas, right? Y'all eat the ham and then the actual ham bone, right? You keep it, you freeze it, right? And then one day during the fall or winter, when the spirit moves you, you get that ham bone out and you use it to make pinto beans. And I don't know how he seasons it and all of that, but then like he seasons it so good. Literally, his pot of pinto beans are so good. It will truly make you want to slap somebody's mama. You won't, but you would want to. And then he serves it with like fried chicken wings and cornbread. And it's so good. It's so good. Like, so good. So those are some of the things that I'm missing right now that I think about when I'm sitting here. And I had a tuna sandwich today. I know I talked about that on our last call. I had another tuna sandwich today. And when I'm sitting in here and I'm eating all of these things that I wouldn't typically choose for myself, I'm thinking about all of the things that I used to eat and how absolutely delicious they were. And I cannot wait to get back to being able to eat my own food. But let's give a quick little medical update. So I was discharged officially today from physical therapy, and I was encouraged to start getting back to doing some of the things I was doing before, like maybe some of the longer walks. I was giving the okay to not walk with my walker anymore. And my physical therapist was just kind of like, why are you still walking with the walker? Like when you go outside. And I said, well, because number one, y'all told me to walk with the walker if I was by myself outside. So there's that. And then number two, I just feel more comfortable doing it. I said, and that's mainly because my walker has a chair, like a seat on it. And if I'm out there and I get tired, guess what I'm able to do? Sit down. And it also has like a little compartment in it. So you can lift the seat up and there's like a little trunk, a glove compartment, if you will. Right. And I put bottled water in there. I said, so if I get thirsty or I get tired, I can lift that seat, I can get some water, and then I can sit down and take a little minute until I'm ready to start walking again. But I understand what he was saying to me. He was saying that, but Tia, like, you don't need that. Like, we see you coming down the steps. We see you walking around in your house. The same way you walk around in your house, you can walk that way outside. And so we ended up talking about it, and what it comes down to for me, I think, is that when I think about going for a walk or walking outside, I think about walking for long periods of time. And I think it does make me kind of sad because it highlights for me that, oh yeah, like, girl, something did happen to you, because you go out here now and after about 20 minutes of walking outside, like, you're done. Like, you want to come inside and take a break. Like, you want to take a break. And sometimes if I sit down and I take a break, that leads into me taking a nap, which is perfectly fine. But something about that does really bother me. So I have been avoiding walking outside for that reason. But he really encouraged me today to like start taking it slow, get out there. He was like, do what you can, and then just try to build on it every time. He was like, because you've got to get to a place where you're comfortable going back out there again. And that meant a lot to me. He also talked to me about what I'm doing like at home to kind of keep myself motivated and keep myself in a healthy place mentally. And we talked about me taking up some hobbies. And so I told him about, like learning to play the guitar. I finally got my books from the library that teach you how to make candles. And I'm super interested in that. I just have to figure out the best way to go about attempting my first candle. Because you know how that is when you're into a new hobby. I don't want to go out here and spend a whole lot of money on candle making supplies. And then I make my first candle and I discover that hobby just isn't going to be for me. But now I'm like $100 or so into it. And I feel like I need to at least make $100 worth of candles just to make my investment worth it. So I'm reading 2 different books about candle making right now, and we'll see where that goes. But he was basically encouraging me to find things that bring me joy and make me happy here in the house so that I'm not feeling so bad about what I'm unable to do in the same way I would have been able to do it like in early August. And so I understood what he was saying, and I'm going to take his advice and use it. He also encouraged me to start using the incline on my treadmill because he said that would just be really good for me, and I need to try to rebuild the strength in my legs before my next surgery. So I'm definitely going to start doing that. And I told him that I was interested in getting back into doing what little bit of Pilates I could do. I think with having a colostomy bag and where my colostomy bag is positioned isn't the most ideal place, I think, for a lot of what we would do in Pilates. And because, of course, I'm not trying to hurt that or cause myself to have any more injuries. I don't want to do anything that's going to keep me from having my next surgery on time. So even with that, what I could do would probably be somewhat limited, but there are things that I could be doing. And so my goal for this upcoming week is to truly make some type of schedule for myself that addresses a lot of what we talked about today in my discharge meeting with physical therapy. So there's that. I did see my colorectal surgeon on Wednesday of this week. We talked about my previous CT scan, and she said based on what she saw, she felt like things looked good, or it looked like what she was expecting to see. So she feels comfortable moving forward with me getting my next scan done, which will be another CT scan, but it's an enema scan. So there's going to be a little discomfort involved in that scan because they don't put you to sleep or nothing for it. They just give it to you. They just give it to you. And I'm sure they just run you through that machine and the results will be the results. So I'm excited about having that next scan done because that next scan will be the scan that determines when I have my next surgery. And of course, I would like to have that surgery sooner rather than later, but of course, in God's timing for me to have it. So, keep me in your T's and P's for that next scan. It's not scheduled yet. I don't know the date of it yet, but when I have the day, I'll be sure to share it on one of our calls. We did ask her about me driving. And, I thought she was going to be like, oh, yeah, girl, get out there, get it how you live it. She was kind of like, she was like, I don't have a problem with you driving, but, and she gave me a list of things I should consider before, of course, quite naturally, before I start driving. And I don't want to be a danger to myself or nobody else. So when she was giving me that list of things that I should think about before getting behind the wheel, I said, now some of them things, we good on. Some of them things we're good. Some of those things, I looked at my husband and my husband looked at me, and the look he gave me was like, yeah, girl, now you about to be staying home. Like, yeah, you're probably going to continue to stay home because some of them things she just said, we can't say that you could pass go on those, which is fine. I think after that appointment, though, I was a little like in my feelings and I was a little sad because I'm like, oh, yeah, that means I really am homebound. Like, girl, unless you ride with somebody, you're probably in here. You're a permanent passenger, princess, for at least for a little bit longer. Which is why those hobbies will be very important to me because I'm like, I got to start finding something to do. I've got to start finding something to do because of what I've been doing up until this point has just been kind of all over the place and it's not giving me the feeling that I want to have. And to be honest with you, I really don't even get sleepy anymore during the day, which I see as a good sign because that makes me feel like my body is healing really well because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm not as sleepy as I used to be. I do get sleepy very early and I do get tired after lots of activity, but that is light years from where I was. My husband actually sent me a video of me when I was in the hospital and we were like doing one of my walks going up the hall because when you're in the hospital, those nurses like to see you walk in the hall. They like to see you up. If they know you can be up and mobile, they like to see you walk in the hall. And when you're out in the hall, they'll be like, oh, okay, girl, like, look at you out here walking. We see you. People that don't even know you, people that just work in the hospital, when they see you out in the hallway, pushing or dragging your antibiotics, they will root for you and they will cheer for you because what they know is that, oh, if you're out here walking this hallway, that means you don't want to be here and you want to go home because walking is like one of the best things they say you can do to get up out the hospital. So, I would try to walk as often as I could, as often as I felt like I could. I would be out there walking and I had everybody walking with me. I know for a fact I had my parents walking with me. Of course, I had my husband walking with me. I'm pretty sure when one of my girlfriends came to visit me, and Kat, you will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but Kat, girl, I think me and you was walking that hallway. I walked. I wanted to get out of there. But, yeah. So I can't remember why I started talking about that. But yeah. Oh, yes, because he sent me the video. He sent me the video of me when I was in the hospital walking. And I'm not going to lie, like even seeing that video gave me a little bit of, I don't want to say PTSD, but like seeing it definitely was jarring for me. Because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, wow, this is what people saw when they came to see me. No wonder everybody was so concerned. But yeah, and it's one of the very early on videos of me when I still had like the tube in my nose. And like in the video, you can see my tube is full of like the green from my stomach. It's a lot. And so for a lot of reasons, I'm like, well, I'm trying to give myself grace and not push myself too hard. And I'm really trying to figure out how to have a good time during this pocket of time where I'm doing better. But, it's not time for my next surgery because I came from a very, very, very long way. So I don't know if y'all have any hobbies that are good to do, like at home. And this is like probably the craziest, most bizarre question to ask people, but let me know. A friend of mine today suggested puzzles. And I'm like, yeah, I could get behind a puzzle. Because that's not something I would feel like I would have to complete all in one day. I could start a puzzle and then work on it a little each day. And that's good. And I could listen to my books on Audible while I did it because I really do. First of all, I have a book and I hope book club is next week because I have a book that I have on Audible. It's the book of the month for book club. and I'm listening to it on Audible, and I really hope the meeting is next week and not tonight, because that is how I'm pacing my listening of that book. So yeah, I'm going to think of some other things that I can do here at the house that will just get me to feeling better, because I don't want my mental health to start to take a shift because I'm just bored, for lack of a better word. So on the heels of that little mini rant and vent session, I really did want to just talk about some of the stuff that I've been either seeing online or thinking about and dealing with on my own, that I just feel like I want to get it off my chest. Back when I was blogging, I used to do something called thought bubbles, and it would be like just little thoughts that I have. And none of them were connected. It was just my random thoughts in a blog post. And this call is going to be a little bit something like that, but maybe with a little bit more commentary. The post and all the things that I've been seeing from the government workers that are furloughed right now has me sick. Has me sick, mainly because it is one of the most disgusting things I think in the year 2025 you could ask a person to do, is to come into work day after day after day after day after day and not pay them. And that's specifically like the air traffic controllers and the TSA workers. And then to threaten them with the loss of their job if they don't come in, I think is equally disgusting. I really do. On the other hand, you do have people online, and the people that are online talking about the long lines at TSA and this and that, and they're like kind of complaining about it. I'm like, girl, what did you expect? What did you expect? Because when you found out that those people were not getting paid to show up to work, did you think, number one, that everybody was going to show up? And did you think that the people that did show up were going to be in any rush to do their job? Now, they might be showing up just to say present, but it doesn't mean that they going to be sliding y'all through the metal detectors like they would if they was getting paid on the 1st and the 15th. And I know you had to know that. I know you had to know that before you made your way to the airport. You had to know, oh, it's going to be long lines. I need to pack my patience, or maybe I need to be prepared to get to the airport super duper early so that I don't make their job that they're not getting paid to do right now harder for them. That's probably what they need and what they appreciate. Because could you imagine, and I don't know what everybody does for work, but just whatever your job is, could you imagine being told that you have to go to work, but we're not even going to pay you though? We're not even going to pay you, and we might not even back pay you. Like when we do start running things like normal again, we might not even back pay you. You really might just be working for free, which to me sounds like a volunteer. And if I was going to volunteer my time, it would not be at the airport with the general population. No, if I was going to volunteer my time, it would probably be with some children. It would probably be with some animals. It will probably be maybe with the elderly, the populations of people that really just are just as sweet as they can be, or they just can't talk back to you. It would be that. It would not be at an airport where people are already antsy. Like people are already anxious because they're trying to hurry up and get through TSA. They're trying to hurry up and make it to their gate. They're trying to hurry up and get to the lounge. They're trying to hurry up and do whatever. When really, it's kind of like, what are you in a rush to do? You shouldn't be in a rush because you knew what it was before you got over here. You shouldn't be in a rush because you knew what it was. If you're not following airport situations local to you on the internet, I highly recommend you do it. And I don't even have a flight planned no time soon. As we all know, I'm not leaving my cul-de-sac anytime soon, but I'm following what's happening at the airport, because what's happening at the airport typically is a good indicator of what's about to start happening everywhere around you. Case in point, people are furloughed, and they are saying that SNAP benefits in a lot of states will not be issued to recipients come November, which I really can't understand, because I do know that those benefits get, issued out from the state. And I'm like, have y'all not already budgeted for that for the year? Like, I'm really not understanding why them people can't get their benefits. Because shouldn't y'all have already allocated those funds for them for the rest of the year? Is it that there's no one at work to push the button to send it out? Is it that? That's why they won't get it? And why is that not on an automated system in 2025? Like, if that's the case, if it is somebody's job to go into an office and sit down at a desk and click, 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 click to make sure benefits go out, then I don't want to take that person's job away, right? Because computers and systems and robots and stuff are taking enough jobs. So I don't want to take that person's job away. But also, why isn't that on an automated thing, right? Why? Because paychecks are direct deposit. And I know them people's SNAP benefits are basically like direct deposit. I just know it. I just know it is not anyone's job to hit a button and say, now here are your SNAP benefits. So because we know that, and because we know y'all had already allocated funds for this, why aren't they getting their money? Why? And this is like one of the worst times of year for y'all to pull that. It's really one of the worst times of year. And not really because it's Thanksgiving. It's really because it's starting to get cold outside and people need food. Starting to get cold outside and people need food. And people need the kind of food that warms them up and keeps them full when it's starting to get cold outside. Now, see, had y'all pulled this mess during the summer, it's like, okay, people probably, which fruit and stuff is expensive, but I feel like when it's hot outside, you kind of have more choices. You can kind of navigate that situation a little bit easier because your food selections don't always have to involve like heavy cooking, right? The foods that people probably should be and need to be and want to be eating right now involve cooking. Like, it involves real food that needs to be put on a stove or in an oven, which means they need their money, because that kind of food is not cheap. That kind of food is not cheap. And I saw someone on Threads saying or asking the question if they should give out ramen instead of candy to kids. And I'm like, on the one hand, I get where you're coming from. Your thought process is to hand out like non-perishable items. But on the other hand, no, give them kids candy. Because if their parents cannot afford food for whatever reason, their parents definitely cannot afford extras or luxuries like candy. Get them children candy, because I also feel like it might be offensive to children or their parents for people to just assume, that's what you needed to be passing out. And then how are you going to do that? How much ramen are you going to buy? How many kids are coming to trick or treat? Because the way my neighborhood is set up, that doorbell starts ringing right before it gets dark, like just right as the sun starts to go down. The little teeny babies, they are always the first trick-or-treaters, because I guess they mamas take them home and put them to bed when it gets dark. And then as the night goes on, like the older kids, teenagers, they'll be trick-or-treating. How many bags of ramen would one even need to make it through a night of trick-or-treaters? How many? Like, there's no way. Because also, if I'm not mistaken, isn't ramen like 30-something cent a pack? I don't know. But that too sounds expensive to me. And I'm like, give them kids candy, because that's what they came to your house to get. Give those children candy because that's what they came to your house to get, and let the grown-ups in their lives figure out the food situation. And if you as a neighbor, if you feel like someone in your neighborhood or someone that you know is going through a situation where they don't have food or they might have a hard time feeding their kids or whatever, that's a conversation that you very delicately and politely have with whoever that is. But I don't think you should let a kindergartner ring your doorbell and instead of you giving them a pack of Starburst, you hand them some Top Ramen or like a box of mac and cheese. No, something about that kind of almost feels like when the white ladies was making bracelets back when Kamala Harris was running for president. And I didn't like that idea, and I don't like this one. I also saw someone talking about how insurance benefits at their job was increasing. And I want to say in the video, she said it almost tripled. It like went up twice as much as it was and like then some. And she was talking about how for her family, I want to say, was it $1,700? She said she was paying a month in benefits, and that no longer even included her husband, that her job said that if your spouse works, then they need to get insurance through their job. But like her job wasn't including benefits for your spouse, like only your kids. And she was talking about how much money she made. She was talking about how like much she pays in bills and all of that. And so now for the benefits to go up in cost, but that benefits plan didn't change and she didn't get nothing extra. And she even lost the ability to cover her husband under that insurance, is a scam. Like that's a scam. And I don't know if it's the kind of scam or scheme that someone like a Todd might have set up for the BS, but that's what it sounds like to me. And I'm like, and how can companies do that? And how can jobs tell you who you can and cannot cover on your insurance? I think all of that is one of the biggest scams that America created and sold to us like it was okay. Sold it to us like it was okay. And it's one of those things where it's been happening now for so long that I think people, number one, I guess we're all used to it, right? Like everybody's used to paying for some form of insurance and then dealing with whatever your plan is. But I think because that has been like the nature of the situation in this country, when people had the option to do Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, both of those are the same thing for people who are listening and think it's two different things. It's the same thing. But when people had the option to like enroll in that, or when there was just so much discourse about why that wasn't good and them trying to take it away, and now people are losing like Medicaid and Medicare benefits, I wonder if people who were either getting insurance at a lower cost or maybe quite possibly no cost to them, people who were in that situation, I wonder if they could even imagine what it's like to be this lady who is paying $1,700 a month for medical insurance that does not even cover everybody in her family. But people make such a fuss about everything that it eventually, I'm sorry, my hand just hit the mic, that it eventually messes up good things for everybody. And I think that that's a huge part of what's wrong with our country right now. Everybody wants things to only benefit them. And then because of that, what people do is they vote a certain way or they make a big fuss about certain things. And then what you don't realize when you do that is if you fuss loud enough and long enough, eventually some of that stuff that you're fussing about is going to come back and bite you too. It's not only going to impact the people that you wanted it to impact or the people that you wanted it to hurt. Eventually things come around, as they often do. and it ends up hurting the whole of us instead of the small group of y'all that just couldn't do what you were supposed to do. And I feel bad for that lady because that's kind of like what happened to her at her job. That's what happened to her at her job. People really are out here going through a lot. And I don't know what the end is going to be for all of us. I mean, it's not looking too bright. You know what I'm saying? It's not looking too bright. It's looking like literally the White House is getting turned into a large scale Versace mansion. And I don't know if anybody had ever seen Versace's mansion. Was it Versace's mansion that's on Ocean Drive in Miami? I've seen it before. And I saw a photo of what's happening on the inside. And I don't know if that was the Oval Office or just a random room in the White House, but I just saw gold trim like on the walls. And I was like, that can't be the White House. That just can't be. The tackiness of it all. And I know the people that work there have got to be like, WTF. They have got to be like, WTF, like what is this coming to? There is literally gold trim that doesn't even look gold. It looks kind of like a really bad, like gel polish gold. You know, when you're flipping through that thing at the nail salon that's got a million different colors on it and you're sweating bullets trying to figure out which color you're going to tell them you want before they come back to you. And there's always like a couple different golds. One of them looks like 90s baddie gold. And then one of them looks kind of like cheap yellowish, but like in a bad way gold. Like almost like McDonald's with glitter gold. That one. That's what that looked like in the photos I saw online of the White House. Like it's a mess. It's a mess. I feel like we're all in the bad place. We're all in the bad place. And sometimes I wonder, did we get left behind? Jesus, did I not live right good enough? I know I had a close call in August, but come on. Who do we deserve? Did we deserve it? I don't think so. I don't think any of us deserve this, but yet it is happening to us and we're living through it all. And we have got to find something good while we're going through it. And that's why y'all can't be giving them children top ramen and mac and cheese when they ring your doorbell next week. Please don't do that. Subscription services are going up like Netflix, HBO Max. I may have gotten an email about somebody else trying to increase their price. Oh, Peloton increased their prices. And I'm like, increase it for what? Because again, y'all are raising prices without giving me anything new. Now, HBO Max, I really don't even do y'all like that. Right now, I am deep into a binge on HGTV. And I'm watching Island Life, like people move into an island. And it's not Caribbean life because that's when they move to the real islands. These people are just moving to like islands off of Rhode Island and California and New York and stuff like that. But I'm really deep into like a binge of that. I'm just letting it play while I'm doing other things and like walking around stir crazy in my house. But other than that, I'm like, HBO, what are y'all really giving me? What are you really giving me? I think The Gilded Age is on HBO, so maybe I need to watch that before I decide if I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to watch The Gilded Age, but I'm like, what are you giving me? And at some point, y'all are going to raise these prices so high that I'm going to have to reconsider getting cable all back up and through here. Because if the prices on all of these apps individually increases one more time, if Morris Chestnut himself does not step out of my Samsung TV and into my living room and give me his lines to my face, then I'm paying too much for all of these apps, because that's truly what it needs to come to. I need Idris Elba to step out of Hijacked, and I need him in my living room grabbing my arm, telling me to get down and cover because something is about to blow up. That's what I'm going to need if these prices go up one more time. And since we all know that that is not going to happen, it's not going to happen. I need them prices to stay where they at. Need the prices to stay where they're at because of all of the things we've already talked about right now while we've been on this call. Everything else is going up in the world. Something's got to stay regular. And I'm not even going to get into Peloton and how I feel like their price went up. And I can only think of one thing that they have added to what they've got going on that justifies the cost of that going up. I can only think of one thing. And the one thing that I'm thinking of, I still really just kind of shrug my shoulders and say, meh, I don't even know if y'all really needed to do that. Because in my mind, you probably really didn't even need to offer that. Something else that's getting on my nerves, that'll be temporary for me, but it's getting on my nerves all the same, is figuring out what I'm going to put on every day. Now, when I was in the hospital, I flat out told them when I realized that, this was going to be like an extended stay, me in this colostomy bag. One of the things I told them, I was like, I don't even have clothes for this. Like, if this is what I'm going to have to do, I literally don't even have clothes for this. And so while I was in the hospital, my mom ordered me some of like the really pretty muumuus, so I have those. I ordered myself some t-shirt dresses, so I have those. So I have about maybe like exactly 5 days worth of like long dresses that cover up my bag and whatever, which was fine when it was still hot outside. Now that those temperatures are dipping, not so much. Like I need my separates back into my life, and you don't realize what you don't really have until you go to look for it and you realize you don't got it. So I'm like, yeah, I have sweater dresses. I have different things. None of them either cover my bag or like camouflage that area enough so that, you can't see it. And maybe I shouldn't even care about that. And I'm almost at that place where I'm about to start being like, I don't even care. I don't even care. Lately, I have been wearing leggings, but see, because of where my stoma and my bag is, I can't pull any type of bottom up, like all the way. I can pull it up in the back, of course, but I can't pull it up in the front. So I end up having to do this thing where you like kind of roll it down like you would do maybe gym shorts. And I have to position it in such a way that, of course, my leggings stay up, but they don't come up and over my bag. It's very frustrating. And then if I do separates, then I have to find shirts that hang long enough to cover up my bag. And of course, I don't have those. I have like a handful of oversized sweatshirts that I've been rotating out. I've been using some of my husband's t-shirts and shirts, and that's been helpful. And as I'm saying this to you now out loud, it's kind of like, what should that even matter, girl? Because you ain't going nowhere. And really, I only care about that on the days where I do get to go out. So like if I have a doctor's appointment, or if I have to go get a scan, or if I have to go get blood, because we normally attach something like fun-ish for me to do. When we do that, I do care about my outfit at least a few times out of the week. On Wednesday, when we left the doctor, I got to go to Costco for the first time since August. And y'all already know how I feel about Costco. Now, again, because I was with my husband, that was a swift trip in and out of Club Costco. It was a swift trip. And I really had an attitude about it. I was like, why are we walking so fast? Take me up and down all the aisles. I need to see what's on sale. I want to see what new things they have. They got Christmas in here, and it was full blown Christmas. Like, you're not allowing me to get the experience that I need. And I don't care if you have a meeting at 11 o'clock and it's 10. I want to walk up and down all these aisles and touch everything. And my husband was like, Tia, I literally have to be in a meeting at 11. It's 10 o'clock. We got to get the stuff we got to get, and we still have to drive home. So we'll have to do that on another day. And I'm going to hold him to it. because those are the types of things that truly, intrinsically make me so happy. I need to be able to see what these people are literally giving away for almost free. One of them is the very famous Costco velour suit. Now, I don't know if you're a velour girly. I don't know if you like the two-piece with the jacket and the pants, but let me tell you what, Costco has very good quality, like velour suits. Now, they're not the tight kind, so they're not going to be like the Juicy Couture or like the baby fat velour suits from back in the day. The ones that the young girls are wearing, like the ones that Angel Reese has with somebody, like she has a partnership with somebody right now and she's selling like a velour set. This ain't that. This ain't that. And it's okay, because right now they're on sale for $14.99. And I need to see what colors they have. Last year they had a beautiful like rose gold color, and I bought one. So that lets you know like how cute they are, how good the quality was. It washed and wore over and over again so well that when I briefly saw that walking past the table, I said, oh, I have got to come back in here while these things are on sale, because I got to see what colors they got this year, and I got to get one. Now, from what I saw very quickly in the store, I know I saw a really dark hunter green color, like a dark forest green color. I'm not going to be able to do that color. I don't think me and that color will be doing anything together for the foreseeable future. Probably until I have to do Christmas decorations in here. But I don't think I need a velour suit that color. So I want to see what else they have, because I think I need another one of those while they are only $14.99. Dressing for this has been very frustrating. And I think it is healthy for me to talk about some of the things that maybe aren't so great about this, because I have tried really hard not to do that up until this point. I have tried really hard not to complain. But now that it is cooler outside, I'm finding it very hard to just find stuff that I want to wear and that I can wear and that's comfortable for me to wear. So, I don't know. Something else that I saw online, and I'll keep this one really brief just because we all are going to be in agreement on this. I saw where people were discussing Ashanti online and how she hasn't snapped back since having her baby. And I wonder if people realize that girl had that baby like 5 minutes ago. She had that baby literally 5 minutes ago. I watched her and Nelly's show. That had to be earlier this year, right? Earlier this year, I watched her show. And on the show, the baby was like a second old. That was a fresh baby. Fresh out when that baby was on that show. So I know that baby can't even be 2 years old yet. And people have to keep in mind that after you have a baby, it's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on, and your first priority becomes the baby. Your first priority, especially a new mom, because she's a first-time mom, especially a mom that decided to wait until later in life to have a baby. People have to know and understand Ashanti is not thinking about that. Ashanti is not thinking about that. She's thinking about that baby. And based on what I saw from that reality TV show, I think that baby was having a birthday party like every month or something like that. Was it a photo shoot or was it a birthday party? No, because I want to say that she had cake for the baby and everything. Yes. So I'm like, that lady is not thinking about y'all, and she's not thinking about being in nobody's gym hardcore on that level to be working out, to be snapping back into a body for what? She's going to sing and she's going to perform no matter what body she's in, and y'all are still going to pay for it. Like, she's still going to make her money. She's still going to make her money in that post-baby body. So the fact that people felt the need I dropped my phone. The fact that people felt the need to get online and discussed that like it served a purpose really did blow my mind. That, and when you look at the pictures of her, she looks great. Like she had, well, the pictures of her that I saw, she had on like a pink one-piece swimsuit, and her and the baby were like frolicking on the beach somewhere. And she looked good to me. She looked good to me, which Ashanti has never looked bad. So I don't know. On one of the posts I saw online, some man had said something about, like, fellas, do you think she has let herself go? Or like, do you think she should be working out or whatever? And the first comment under his post was a woman saying, not you talking about her body when you look like a deep breath. And for whatever reason, that took me out, because, you know, when y'all be saying stuff online and it's funny, I try to visualize it. And I was like, dang, what does a deep breath look like? And then I took a deep breath and I was like, oh, swole. Like when you take that big deep breath in. Yes. Yes. And I'm like, oh, we are such a funny people, us 92%. We're such a funny people. And we're not going to let you just attack that lady for no reason. Ashanti looks good. She always have. She always will. And at the end of the day, if Ashanti tapped any of those men on the shoulder and was like, I'm done with Nelly, you're up next, I bet you they would say, and I got next. Like I'm with it, but you know that would never happen. So they have to get online and talk about women that they will literally never even share air with. Let's do the TV roundup really quick. The morning show, it just gets better and better every week. And we are at a good cliffhanger in the season. We're about to see what happens with Karen Pittman's character. You know, I can never remember characters like names on the show. Like, I can't think of what her name is on that show, but her real government name is Karen Pittman. Karen Pittman is also the mom from Forever, for people who don't know. But the last episode left us with like a cliffhanger of her kind of standing her ground and letting them know what it was going to be with her moving forward. And I love that for her and her character. I feel like Reasonable Doubt is also holding our attention. And who do we think killed Wendy? Who do we think killed Wendy? And the only reason I know Wendy's name, I think, is because I really don't know who that lady is that plays her in real life. Is that Rumor Willis? Am I making that up? I think I am. I think I just made that up. That's not who plays. That is not who plays Wendy. But I'm like, who do we think killed Wendy? Now, I have a couple different thoughts about this. Number one, I'm like, obviously Ozzy could have killed Wendy, right? But I don't think he did. Number two, they want us to think that Monica killed Wendy out of her like love or whatever for Ozzy. And I don't think Wendy really killed him. I think that she's so sick and twisted in her mind. And I think she really feels like she has some type of nasty connection to him, that she really in her mind thinks she's protecting him. I think Wendy thinks that Ozzy killed Wendy. Yes, I think Monica thinks that Ozzy killed Wendy. And because she thinks Ozzy did it, she really does feel like she's protecting him and she's helping him by kind of like taking the brunt of this investigation or like the case, right? But I don't think Monica did it. I don't think Monica did it. Now, the sister to me has a very interesting place in all of this. The sister seems to always be around. The sister always seems to be stuttering over her words. Just like me just now. The sister definitely looked like she was about to cave when that drug dealer was blackmailing her about getting on the stand. The sister is sleeping with Daniel, and it's kind of like, for what? Like, why are you even doing that? Is it to throw somebody off your scent? Is it so that you can stay tapped into the case? I think Daniel is definitely sleeping with her, one, because she's a cute girl, and two, I really do feel like he's sleeping with her to keep his own little, like, foot in where all the stuff is going on. I think that sister has my attention because we know she met with that journalist who then told Daniel at the bar that he had a really good source for a really good story about a famous person that was in a lot of trouble, but then the source kind of like backed out at the last minute and it kind of messed up what he was working on. I'm like, it literally almost has to be the sister. The sister would have access to Ozzy's belongings. She could put on one of his hoodies and kill Wendy and then put the hoodie back into his room. She could do that. I don't know who else would be able to do that. I mean, maybe other than Monica, but I really don't think Monica did it. I think Monica is a disgusting pedophile, and I think she's an awful human being. She's definitely a child molester, but I don't know if she is a killer. Like, I don't know if she killed Wendy. Although when she was accused of it, she never said, did she say she didn't do it? I don't know. It wasn't a resounding no for me. Yeah. So I'm like, who killed that girl? Who killed that girl? I'm sure we'll find out within the next few episodes. Also, they need to start just putting all the episodes of Reasonable Doubt out at one time so we can just watch them all in one weekend like regular human beings. What else am I watching right now other than Island Life? Oh, Love is Blind. Love is Blind, and then I'm going to go because I think I'm knocking on my bed's door. Listen, okay, let's start with Calabria and Edmund. I feel like KB knew this whole time she was not going to marry that man. Good for her for hanging in there as long as she did. I really think that show tells these couples, one of y'all has to make it to the altar. Like, even if you're going to say no, you got to say that at the altar. Y'all can't keep breaking up before we even have the wedding day, because that cuts the season short if we don't make it to the wedding day. Because y'all remember when Love is Blind used to be 2 days worth of weddings. Like, you would have 2 episodes worth of weddings. You don't have that anymore. Literally, they had all of that in one episode. The most recent episode had, and these are spoilers, had 2 of the weddings. One of the other couples broke up, and everybody else broke up before they even made it that far. KB knew she was never going to say yes to Edmund, and rightfully so. There's a lot that I could say about that. I will not, but she knew she was going to say no. So there's that. Jordan and Sparkle Meg. Now, I felt like Jordan always brought up how well off Megan was. And initially, I thought he had an insecurity about that. But after watching this most recent episode, I'm like, no, he wasn't insecure about it. I think what's happening in that situation is Jordan is a regular guy. Jordan is like, I'm a father. I go to work. I come home. When I come home, I'm not here for all that sparkle rah-rah. I come home. I need a minute to kind of decompress, collect my thoughts, regroup. And then if you want to talk to me and it's about something, we can talk, but you don't always have to be talking to me. And I don't want to feel like I always got to entertain you. And rightfully so. He's like, I have a son and I'm going to be entertaining anybody and listening to anybody talk about anything. If I'm going to be watching anybody do tricks, look what I can do. It's going to be Luca. It's going to be my son. It's not going to be you. And I don't think Sparkle Meg could handle that, because Sparkle Meg wants to be with somebody who can just up on a dime, travel with her, go places, not have to be committed to responsibilities like that of a father. And she even says in the episode, like she doesn't think she gave it enough thought that becoming a stepmom or like a parent in general meant giving up so much of your life. And she was like, so it made me wonder if I would really be a good stepmom. And she was like, and it kind of makes me wonder if I'm going to be a good mom in general. And she's weeping and she's crying. And see, stuff like that, when they cry, I'm like, oh, baby, don't sit up here and cry. Don't sit up here and cry over that. Because number one, you're smart enough. You should have thought about that. Everybody knows having a kid is a big deal. That's number one, which she did. She broke up with him before going to the wedding day. But I'm like, what part of him not being an involved and active father didn't you understand when he said it in the pods? I think she got so wrapped up in the fact that that little boy had diabetes like her daddy that she really didn't think about anything else. She was really trying to replace her daddy with this little boy. But then it got real for her when they started living together, and she realized like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to just take this little boy to Chuck E. Cheese once or twice a month and then drop him back off at his daddy's house. Like, I'm going to be one of his parents, like for real. And when that happened to Sparkle Meg said, not I. But you know, it's funny how things tend to work out, because when you see the trailer for the reunion, they kind of hint to the fact that Megan has this announcement that she's going to make. And what Us Weekly, the magazine, as well as TikTok investigators have already discovered is that we are under the impression that Sparkle Meg has had a baby of her own since the filming of this show, which was apparently, people are saying, was 2 years ago, or at least a year and some change ago. It's definitely been at least 9 months and some change. At least a year, because I'm like, she's had enough time to meet a whole nother man, which maybe Sparkle Meg knew that man when she knew Jordan, which is no tea, no shade, no lemonade, girl. Like, I don't care. Get it how you live it. Girls, get that cash. If it's 9 to 5, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you knew that man while you knew Jordan, but if you did, that would explain how you were able to meet somebody, get pregnant, have a whole pregnancy, give birth to that baby, and that baby is not a fresh baby. That baby is not a fresh baby like Ashanti's baby was on her show. That clip I saw, that photo I saw of that baby, the daddy was carrying him. But you know what? Sometimes their babies do just be big. So I don't know. That could be a fresh baby and it's just large. Either way, that baby looks like it might have been like 3 months old or so. We don't know, but she's going to make the official announcement during the reunion, which is next week on the 29th. And also, Love is Blind or Netflix, Nick and Vanessa, when y'all have the episode of the weddings, you just need to have the reunion right after that. Number one, because y'all don't even do good enough reunions for us to wait a whole week for you to let us see it. We know that reunion is going to be half done. And we'll get bits and pieces of things that answer our questions, but it's not going to be that good. You really need Nina Parker doing your reunions. And I know Nina Parker probably has no idea that this podcast exists. Maybe I need to get on social media and tag her and be like, hey, Nina, has Netflix ever considered hiring you to do the reunion for Love is Blind? Girl, they should. They should, and they should pay you a lot of money to do it, because we would love it. We would watch that reunion, and we'd probably watch it more than one time, because you would get them people to answer some real questions about what was going on and what has been happening since the camera stopped rolling. So that's Jordan and Sparkle Meg. Anton, I think his name was Anton, and her name was Allie. Now, I really couldn't figure out why they all of a sudden started having so many problems. Anton seems like a good, regular guy. Like, we never saw them have no explosive moments. We never really saw them arguing. She kept calling him out for his drinking because she said he would have a beer every day when he got off from work, like a beer or two. And she didn't like that because she felt like he got off work in the morning. She said he worked third shift. He would get off work in the morning and come home and have like a beer or two. And I get it. It's probably something very strange about seeing somebody drink a beer in the morning. And not that I'm trying to condone his behavior. And I'm never trying to agree with a man. But I'm like, but girl, that's his shift. Like if he was working from 9 to 5 every day and he was getting home at like 6 o'clock, would you think it was weird that he had a beer with his dinner? If it was 6 o'clock in the afternoon, like his shift is his shift. And should he not be able to kind of live the way he wants to live just because he works third shift? I don't know. I think I can see that situation from both sides. I just didn't like it that she made it seem like he had an actual drinking problem because he was drinking beer when he got off from work, which maybe when the cameras weren't rolling, it was more going on with that. I mean, I don't know. But then again, I feel like you see on TV quite a bit. And even in real life, I went to a PWI. So I've seen many a drunk white boy. And I feel like we just never saw that outside of when they were all in Mexico. When they did the filming and they were like at home living their regular day-to-day life, I feel like we never saw him sloppy or nothing like that. So I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? But then when you meet her mom makes it a point to say no one in their family drinks. And even if you're having one drink, she feels like that makes you an alcoholic. To which her daughter, the bride, says, well, mommy, like I drink. But then the mom says, yeah, but you don't drink every day. And so I'm like, oh, okay, it's the everydayness of it for them. So I guess they would think the same thing about people who maybe have a glass of wine with their dinner. Like now they're thinking you have bigger problems than what you really do because they feel like you might have a cocktail or like whatever. I don't know. I felt like that situation just was strange and weird to me. And maybe you just didn't want to marry him anyway. And when you meet her friends, they were all talking about his job and how he's a truck driver and was he going to do that forever and whatever, even though he makes good money. And I'm just like, yeah, so see, sometimes y'all be worried about all the wrong stuff. You're worried about all the wrong stuff. That man goes to work. Apparently he makes good money. He was coming home. He said yes at the altar. But she's the one that said no. So I'm like, oh, I think you kind of fumbled that one a little bit. And I also think that, and I think this when I see things on threads, I think this a lot. I think women who pay too much attention to what's going on social media, I will put it that way, who want to be married, but they're not married yet. I think they really think that men are going to be perfect. Like, I really do think that they think that whoever they end up marrying, I really think that they think perfection like exists out in the world. And it's just kind of like, no, whoever you end up marrying, something's going to be wrong with them. It's just a matter of, can you live with the things about them that you would consider to be their flaws? That's really what it boils down to. It's really what it boils down to. Can you live with the person's flaws? The things you don't like about them, can you live with them? Because nobody is going to be perfect. And when I watch shows like this and they like nitpick at the smallest things, I'm like, oh, you just didn't like him. You just didn't like him, which is fine. So say no. Say no, but you just didn't like, I don't know, you just didn't like him. Who else was on that show? I think we talked about Joe. I can't remember what his fiance's name was, but it's a guy named Joe that was on that show. They were one of the couples. Joe and that girl broke up a couple episodes ago, and basically Joe told her well, he tried to tell her in a nice way that like he just didn't think they were soulmates, whatever. When in reality, it's kind of like, no, girl, Joe would have never hollered at you if y'all was like out in the real world. If y'all was out at the bar and Joe saw you, Joe wouldn't see you. Like Joe would have been looking past you. And that's what you're going to find out that he said about you when these episodes air. Which is not bad. And it's a good thing that he went ahead and broke up with her without making her go through the whole trying on a wedding dress and showing up at the altar and letting her say yes, only for him to say no. I'm glad he broke up with her when he did, but he kept making comments about what that girl looked like, and that girl was not a bad looking girl. She was a cute girl, really cute girl. She seemed to really like him. But Joe thinks that, I don't know what Joe thought. I think Joe thinks he deserves to be with like an Instagram model or maybe an actual supermodel. I mean, I really don't know. But he kept making comments about her and her body and how he normally doesn't date girls that look like her. When again, Joe, when they was in Mexico and Joe had on his swimsuit, he looked like a deep breath. Hold it in. That's what Joe looked like. That's what Joe looked like. And that's why I'm just like, some of these men really should talk a lot less. Really should talk a lot less. Really shouldn't have as many opinions about women as they do if they claim to like them and want to be with them. But also this show in its entirety needs an overhaul because it's just awful. It's to the point now where no one even makes it to the altar. And if people make it to the altar, they don't even get married. There will never be another season 1 of this show. Lauren and Cam is as good as it's going to get. And they just had a baby, by the way. It's as good as it's going to get. And I think from their season, the Barnetts, what was their names? I can't think of what their names were. But yeah, but the Barnetts, that couple, they're still together. And I think they've got kids by now. And then the other couple from Seattle, Tiffany and Brett, them. And I think that season had another couple too. Zach and, was her name Nicole? Because you remember Zach broke up with Nicole or didn't ask Nicole to marry him. He asked somebody else. That situation didn't work out. And then he spun the block and went back and got Nicole. And she said, yeah, wouldn't have been me. Wouldn't have been me. But she said, yeah. And they've still been married. So what do I know? And they were pregnant the last time I saw them. I'm trying to think if there was any other couples that have survived. Oh, and Chelsea and Kwame. Yeah, they're still married too. So I don't know, but it's not looking too good for Love is Blind. People are kind of over it, but yes, it's 8:21. Let me go ahead in here and do my skincare routine and get ready for bed and get snuggled in. Go ahead and start getting me some sleep so I can wake up tomorrow and try to figure things out. My nurse is coming tomorrow, and it's a new nurse that I've never met before. My nursing sessions have been reduced now from twice a week to once a week. And I don't know. I'm kind of not excited about a new nurse coming. It's kind of like I like getting to know people and then like just letting those people be my people. But I'm going to have to get to know somebody new tomorrow. So I'm definitely going to have to go to sleep so that tomorrow I'm in like the mood to do that. What else do I have going on tomorrow? I don't know. This weekend, we have to find my daughter a cute little outfit for an interview because they're doing mock interview sessions at school next week and the kids have to dress up. So I'll be taking her. Well, I won't be taking her, but we'll all be going to find her a cute little outfit for that. And I think that's it. When you're out, compliment somebody. Say something nice to them. Make their day. Make another woman smile. Don't compete. Don't compare. Don't complain. What God has for you is for you. And never knock another woman's hustle. I will talk to you guys in a few days. Love you, girl. Bye.